We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guys Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things Con!
Welcome to the Con Guy Comic-Con Show. This is our annual deep dive into the panels, the lifeblood of San Diego Comic-Con, and this year promises to be a whole different experience. Or is it? You know, we've been kind of talking about this is kind of perhaps a whole different experience, but not necessarily. Anyways, with the writer's strike causing a major work stoppage in Hollywood and most of the major studios having opted to skip the con this year, breaking the hearts of many a con goer, this is going to be a different kind of year. But you know what? We've got the panels. This week, we've got the panels, the best, the coolest, the most interesting panels. And not just that, but we've got some cool special guests to get us started. My name is Jim Fry. I am your editor-in-chief here on theconguy.com. And on the podcast, who do I have with me tonight to start off?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Cheeseman, one of the founding con guys, screenwriter as well.
Cheeseman, I'm going to tell you, Cheeseman's super worn out right now. He has been like running like crazy trying to get stuff ready for the con. I've been running like crazy to get stuff for the con. Just so you guys know, the rest of the hosts, they're going to join us a little bit later. You know, we got some special guests on tonight. We got some interviews. This is a jam-packed episode. We're really excited to bring it to you. And for those of you who aren't living in Los Angeles, which is probably the most of you, but LA is starting to feel like Comic-Con. Luke and I, we went to a tiki restaurant yesterday, a tiki bar, tiki restaurant. It was Tonga Hut, the LA's oldest tiki bar. And we walked in, and what did we see, Cheeseman?
Star Wars podcast.
There was a Star Wars podcast going on, all about and all kind of cosplayers and everything set up, and they were talking about getting ready to go down to San Diego Comic-Con, and it's kind of cool. And we're going to talk. We have 2 really cool guests tonight. Our first guest is going to be Mr. Tony Kim, the founder and owner of Hero Within. He's one of the most, we call him Mr. Comic-Con. He's Mr. Positive, Mr. Comic-Con. You can't get him flustered. That guy just has it all together. And then we're also, speaking of getting ready in Los Angeles and Los Angeles feeling like Comic-Con, we're going to be talking with Mr. Jeff Gunn. He's the owner and founder of the InfoList organization, and they have what's known as the pre-Comic-Con Bash every year up here in Los Angeles. It's happening this coming Monday over in Hollywood. So we talk with him. Then, of course, we got Danae. We got our special guest, Angela Relucio. And from Florida, we have Mr. Thomas Parham joining us tonight, the blurred PhD himself. So it's going to be a great show tonight. But first, Cheeseman, let's talk. I just wanted to bring this up because I am so excited about Comic-Con every year, but I've gone and done something to kind of slow me down at Comic-Con this year. I'm on crutches, and that's if my mom's watching. Mom, I'm okay. My leg's not broken. Luke, and as nice a way as possible. Why am I on crutches?
Well, he's not a pirate, and it's not cosplay, but
I wish.
Jim being a fan of Cobra Kai and all that, and
no, that's not what this was.
Well, it had to do with karate. So me and Jim were walking out of a place with some friends, and I was like, "Hey, you want to see a fun trick that Jim does? Because Jim can kick higher than you think.
I used to play soccer a lot,
a little more flexible than you think." So I reached out my hand. I'm like, Jim's going to try to kick my hand. He kicked it, and he's like, "Oh, that's easy. I bet you could do it." And then I easily did it. And then I raised the bar, and then that's when he did his jumping kick and then hurt himself.
In other words, it was just being stupid. It's dumb. The reason I'm bringing this up is in years past, we've done what's called the 6-week fitness challenge, getting ready for Comic-Con. We're not going to be able to do that this year because Comic-Con's next week. But Derek and Danae and Lara and everybody's going down to Comic-Con, and hopefully next week we'll be able to bring out some, like, if you're not yet ready for the rigors of running around for 5 days out in the hot sun in San Diego, we're going to kind of give you some advice next week on our final podcast. So we have one more podcast before we head down. But tonight, Cheeseman, why don't you set up our first guest for tonight?
Yeah, so we had Tony Kim on from Hero Within talking about what he's doing at Comic-Con. He has a lot going on, and we are excited to share what our interview with him.
Yeah. And just so you know, we started the interview a little bit wonky because I was in charge of the technology, and it never goes well when that happens. Anyways, Tony Kim, Mr. Comic-Con himself, talking about the panels, talking about what he's bringing to Comic-Con merchandise-wise, and he's got a cool off-site that you guys are going to want to check out. All right, here's Tony. And it's not recording yet. I don't know what's going on.
It's recording, it says.
There we go, of course.
It said recording on my end.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, sorry about that. Like, I think we're getting a little bit of a bad reception here, bad Wi-Fi, but we are here with Tony Kim. He is the founder and manager of Hero Within, one of our favorite clothing brands, fandom clothing brands. You can always find him online at Hero Within, but also he it's so much fun when you find Tony at the cons, at the Comic-Con, especially our favorites, the WonderCon and San Diego Comic-Con. Those are the biggies that we love to hang with Tony, find out what he's bringing, because it's always something cool. Tony's always got something cool planned, and we love his clothes. I'm hoping I can eventually get in there and get some of that Godzilla stuff that sold out so quickly at the last time I was trying to get it. But Tony, welcome to the show, man.
Man, it's Comic-Con is back, and con guys are here, and so I can't believe it.
I know.
It felt like Comic-Con was like months away, and then it just blinked, and it's like right here. It's like, at least at the time of this recording, it's 10 days away, and like I'm
next
in
week.
Full freak out mode.
This next week. I know. We're probably not having to freak out as much as you are. We do have a cool panel that we're putting together that Luke is kind of handling all the talent relations, and it's a biggie. And
cool.
it just takes a lot of time. But you, my friend, you become like kind of one of the cornerstones when people want to find out what's going on at the cons, want to find out the vendors, want to find out events and panels. You can always come to you to ask. I remember one time a friend of ours came down to meet us at Comic-Con, and it was and he was like, I don't know. He said everybody he talked to referred him over to Tony Kim. Tony Kim can be your guide to tell you what you need to do when you get there. So we've been friends ever since. That's a cool thing. Anyways, Tony, welcome back to the Con Guy Show. We just want to take a few minutes to kind of talk about what you've got planned for San Diego this year. And there's 3 things in particular we want to talk about. First, right up front, we want to talk about what it is you're bringing. And I know that you're still kind of finalizing some of your plans, but we want to, if you can like kind of talk about, give us a little bit of a preview. Yeah. Second, let's talk about the panels. Most of tonight's show will be about the panels. It's a very different Comic-Con. Actually, this is not a very different Comic-Con. This is just like the Comic-Cons of the last 40 years. It's different than the ones from the past 10 years, maybe.
There you go.
This is a Comic-Con that we're all going to love. And then thirdly, you've got this thing called the Energizer Zone that we have no idea what it is, and we would love for you to tell us about it. But first, let's talk. And Luke, I've been jabbering along. Let's introduce ourselves. Jim Fry here with the Con Guy. Who do we have on the couch?
Cheeseman here again. Cheese on couch.
And Tony, right up front, while people are watching, where can they check out your products, even if they're not at San Diego Comic-Con?
HeroWithinStore.com. You can also find us on all the socials under Hero Within. I have a guest appearance here. Hold on. Whoa.
Oh, hello.
You saying a hello?
We got White Fang here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So HeroWithinStore.com and Hero Within all the socials. That's where you can find us at.
Awesome. All right. Well, Luke, let's go ahead and start. Tony, what are you bringing to Comic-Con, my friend? What can we expect to see?
Yeah. So booth right now is in 1943. So it's kind of, it is right next to what used to be Sideshow Collectibles.
Oh, nice.
So that booth is not there anymore, which is really a bummer. Again, one of the changes. But
did you say 1943?
1943. Yeah.
Cool.
So
that's like a year.
Yeah, it is. So that's where we're at. Same place we've been before. We're very excited about that location. And yeah, what we're bringing, besides bringing a bunch of anxiety and stress, I'm also bringing a lot of great merch for Here Within. It's going to be a little bit of a different type of year because while we're doing the Star Trek interactive experience like we did last year, where
It's very cool.
Fans can come in. They have a wide range of outer jackets to choose from, accessories like name patches, shoulder patches, zipper pulls, pins, all that sort of thing. That basically it's like Build-A-Bear for Star Trek jackets. So you can like, so we still have that coming back as a second year. But what makes us a little bit different is that, so during this past year, we had a tremendous success with the Star Trek Picard field jackets. You know, the Star Trek season 3 was so popular, and we came out with the field jacket in 3 different colors. And that jacket was just, I mean, the pre-orders, we did 3 pre-orders that sold out in record time.
Yep.
And we're still in the middle of shipping those out and all that stuff. So because of that, we are dedicating a significant amount of our time and space retailing the field jackets. So that while that's not necessarily brand new, it is new because we've been shipping the past couple of months, and because of the demand for it, we wanted to make sure that it was available for fans that are coming to San Diego. So again, they're completely sold out on the website. They've been sold out as a pre-order for many months, but so if you scroll down, I think that you can keep going right there. You can click on that right there.
Big picture
banner. Yeah, the big picture. Keep going up.
Right
there you go.
Right there.
There's a button. There you go. On the right, the blue button.
Okay.
Star Trek collection. Yeah.
Star Trek collection. There you go. Yeah. And then so the field jacket, that will be available at our website or at our booth. The 3 different colors: the command red, operations gold, and the science navy. And so we're very excited about that. But then we're also bringing, of course, some brand new stuff. We've got a United Federation of Planets denim jacket. So this is going to be a black denim jacket that has the UFP logo embroidered, as well as embroidery on the sleeve.
Is it on here right now on the website?
It's not on here right now. It's not on right now.
But yet. Nice.
Yeah. So you can cut to a pic. You have to directly cut to a picture at this point.
Okay.
And then we in the previous past we sold a tech hoodie that came in a gray and the red red command accent colors. And for San Diego, we're releasing it. We're bringing it back, as well as bringing the other 2 colors along with it. So the Operations Gold and the Science Navy as well. So you have 3 different versions of that same jacket. We're also bringing back something that really big, high in demand has been the Strange New Worlds, the leather jacket.
Well, so that show is so popular.
Yeah. And that's been sold out as well. So that's coming back for San Diego, fully stocked. We also offered we're getting a little bit into carrier bags, and so the messenger satchel bags.
Yeah.
So we'll have 3 new ones at our booth. And what else we have? Oh, we're also offering a few new pins, and we have a really fun exclusive pin to commemorate 2023 as well. So
nice.
So I think that's all of it that we're offering. Yeah.
That's cool, dude. You have a whole team of people that come down, and your booth is always like a hub of activity. Like we always try to stop by and say, hey, Tony, how you doing? And he's like, yeah, and then right back in. Like it, and you guys, like I remember, because every time I come, you guys sell out fairly quickly. So folks should probably try to check if they're coming for. You'll be there out and for some preview night. You got something preview night. We'll talk about in a second, but you guys will be there selling the floor.
Yeah.
1943. Yeah. Oh, it's I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. Very cool.
So yeah, a lot of new stuff, a lot of greats returning. Basically, a lot of our fan favorites are returning, as well as several new items. And so it's a great offering this year.
Nice.
Will you still be selling some of your DC stuff, or are you sold out of most of that now?
Sold out of most of it, and again, we're focusing on Trek this year, and
Okay.
This is a big Trek year.
It is. This is it. You know, it really worked out. You know, we didn't really talk about it, but while it hasn't been ideal, some of the changes that's happened to Comic-Con over the past few months.
Yeah.
It in some senses it works out for us because it's a big Star Trek year. You know, it's, Paramount and Star Trek Universe is going to be one of the biggest panels of the year.
Yep.
So you know, we'll be representing, and you know, while there might not be as many people in line at Hall H, there'll be more people on the floor, and more people on the floor means more people shopping. So, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see, well, I don't want to say that. I've heard from some folks that there will be some presence at Comic-Con that people are unexpected. They're not expecting it. And we can talk about that offline because I'll get in trouble when I talk about it. But
well, that's a part of Comic-Con experience, is that it's there's always surprises. And so regardless of, you know, the bummer news that people are sort of hearing, there'll always be things that people are not expecting. And it turns out to be a great show.
Yep. And in the first part of this show tonight, we have a bunch of writers and actors talking about how this year's going to look a bit different. But like you said, I'm always the one that I love the Hall H panels. I love the Ballroom 20 panels, but I love finding the comic books. I'm always on the comic book. I have certain things I'm always looking for, and it's the best place to go looking. So it might be a bit more challenging for me this year because it's going to it's probably going to get a little bit more crowded. All right.
Yeah.
So Cheeseman, we're going to talk to Tony about panels. Tony, you always seem to have some of the most interesting panels. Do you have panels this year?
Yeah. There's a couple that I'm doing. One is called, speaking of Star Trek, it's called How to Boldly Go into Star Trek. And so, you know, one thing that's I get into these conversations a lot because right now Star Trek is kind of in a renaissance or a Trek-assance, you can say.
Trek-assance,
where there's a lot of content and there's a lot of new viewers. And so a conversation I get into a lot is like, how do I get into Trek? Do I start from the very beginning of the original series and work my way through Next Generation, then Voyager? You know, there's over a dozen movies. And so do I watch them all in order? Like, how do I, really consume the content? Because with so little time and so much content, it's overwhelming to know where to begin. So we're doing a panel where we're talking about helping introduce people who are new or newish to the fandom, help them kind of get into the shallow end of Star Trek, and
the shallow end.
where we're able to recommend basically different lists of how to consume kind of the Star Trek essentials, where you're not overwhelmed but you kind of have the basics involved. And so I'm very excited. I have several panelists, Myra Gossett, Clyde Haynes, and a gal named Giraffe, who is all a part of several different podcasts, the Strange New Pod, the Star Trek Discovery podcast. And they're all Star Trek pros, and they've got a wealth of information in regards to Star Trek. And so super excited about that. That's Thursday at 1 p.m. at the Marriott room 12.
Oh, it's over the marquee. Nice.
Yeah. And then the second podcast or second panel that I'm part of is called Spirituality in Pop Culture. And so that's basically just several different panelists that are talking about how, pop culture, it's fun and it's entertaining, and we all love geeking out over it. But there also is a lot of spiritual implications, and there's some overlap when it comes to the stories that are told in pop culture and then our spiritual journey. And so, because the hero's journey is very kind of common among not just in pop culture, but then also in different stories and themes in different sort of spiritual arenas. And so we're each kind of sharing basically how going a little bit deeper in a sense of how pop culture has challenged us spiritually, and some of sharing some examples of that. And so I'm very excited about that. That's also Thursday at 6:30 in room 29CD. So those are the two panels that I'm a part of, and
that's
yeah,
cool.
So, yeah.
By the way, spirituality and pop culture, I love that topic, especially like some of my most favorite shows of all time: Battlestar Galactica, Lost, X-Files. They have such underlying spiritual themes that just strengthen them and make them such deeper shows. I love that you guys are talking about that. That's so great.
Yeah.
So on the first one, we're doing the Star Trek thing. Like, do you guys have kind of like a unified idea of how to go about it? Or is everybody kind of bringing their own kind of like, hey, this is how I do it?
So we're all composing our own top 10 lists. We're not comparing those lists. And so at the panel, we're going to go through from 10 down to 1 and each kind of sharing. And we're across from, the TV shows, the streaming services, books, movies, and anything that's essential to Star Trek, we're bringing those in. So it's going to be real diverse with everyone, what their top 10 list is. And I would imagine that I'm going to leave with a new appreciation of things I wouldn't necessarily consider on my top 10. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
All right. Before we jump into your last thing, are there any panels that you have seen? You probably don't get a lot of time to go check out any of the panels. I didn't know if you saw anything that interests you at all.
Well, I mean, you're right. It's tough to get away during the show. Of course, I'd like to see the Star Trek Universe panel in Hall H, and it's interesting because this might be the first year in a while that's all week long. Hall H or maybe even Ballroom 20 will be open to where you can come in. You don't have to do the whole crazy waiting in line, and maybe you can just come in just right before the panel starts. And so if that's the case, then maybe I'll have some luck and I can slip in and check it out.
That's cool. I think they do have some big days. Like I know that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film, that might be a hard one to get into. Yeah. The Walking Dead's taken over, and if Legendary does bring actors, they're rumored to be bringing the second part of Dune. Yeah, that'll be a gigantic panel. I think that one might fill it up. But other than that, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a good time at the con this year. How long have you been going to the conventions, Tony?
So before the pandemic, 2006. And
I forgot that pandemic. Carve out those years.
The P word. So that was 13 years in a row. And then, of course, we had the thing happen. And then I came back for Comic-Con Special Edition. And then last year for 2022. So 15.
That's cool. So do you remember your first year you attended?
2006.
2006. Okay, so because the big change kind of was 2009 is what people can point to. So
I woke up. I'd heard of Comic-Con forever. So I was at that time I was living in Texas for most of my life. I was reading about in the back of comic books they would have ads for Comic-Con. So I'd be looking at this in Texas and be like, what is this mythical place called San Diego Comic-Con? And so eventually when I moved here, on a Saturday morning, I woke up and called my buddy up and said, hey, man, I heard that Comic-Con thing's happening. I'd love to go. And we literally just drove up Saturday morning, went to the door. We bought a ticket, walked the whole floor, came back. I had no idea there were panels, no idea, but checked out the whole floor. And, 3 years later, it was a completely different experience. And so
mine was too. I did the same thing. Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right. So
when did your company start, by the way?
2016.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 10 years after your first appearance.
Yeah, it's crazy. Would have guessed it and imagined. So yeah.
And people
way to celebrate a decade of Comic-Con.
I know. And people can also find out about on Crazy for Comic-Con, your website, where you talk about all things pop culture and Comic-Con. That's a good way to keep up with you as well.
Yeah, I'm still posting a lot of podcasts, a lot of podcast interviews, a lot of content on Crazy for Comic-Con. So
very cool. And we don't want to let you go before you're doing something kind of cool.
Yeah.
Party.
You're having something called the Energizer Zone. What is that?
Energized Lounge.
Energized Lounge.
Yeah. So, for a few years, we've here within has hosted some different events, and Creative Comic-Con has hosted some different events. I think we first met at the Bloggers Party years ago.
Game of Bloggers.
And, years ago, right? So, I was looking at doing some other events throughout the week, and this kind of started last year, and then this year I was like, and I realized that what I kind of want to do and what I want to accomplish just can't be done necessarily in a single night or a single day. So we found a location to host what we're calling the Energized Lounge. And basically it's like a Star Trek themed Starbucks. So, it's like a lounge space. It's a small, intimate lounge space that you can basically hang out. You can, how it is, man. You're on your feet, walking around all day long. And so you can chill out at the lounge. You can connect with other Star Trek fans, and you can get re-energized with some Star Trek themed coffees. And so we're going to have some different iced latte drinks that, again, are Trek themed, like our Vulcan vanilla latte and some other things like that. Nice. And then we have some hot drinks as well. And so, for people who need to sort of get re-energized, it'd be a great place to pick up some coffee. Honestly, for me, I live and die off of coffee, and it's super frustrating to be at Comic-Con to not be able to get there you go.
I live on it.
Yeah.
Oh, the kind
and there you go.
Nice.
Yeah,
so you huh?
Yeah, so there'll be some. You can get cups. There's we have 3 different coffee bean blends that again are Trek themed, as well as the drinks that you can take with you as well. And so a lot of different kind of merch. But as I was saying, like, I'm such a coffee fanatic that I was just so frustrated with the fact that I can't get a good cup of coffee in a semi-relative quick amount of time, because the Starbucks, there's like 4 coffee shops for 100,000 people in San Diego, So this is basically one big elaborate sort of thing just so I can get a cup of coffee.
Do you know the price point for the coffees? Like what the range is?
Yeah. They're between like $4 to $6, something like that.
Awesome.
It's like, Starbucks kind of prices. And so, but yeah, anyway, but we're partnering with some great companies like IDW Publishing is going to have some displays about their new Star Trek comics that are coming out.
Oh, wow.
Rock Love Jewelry is doing a display with some of their Star Trek pieces. The Star Trek cruise is going to have a display kind of showing off kind of what it's like to be on a cruise. So it's not just, we'll have here within merch that's on display as well, but then we'll also have other merchandise. And so if you're a Trek fan, a coffee fan, if you just want to get off your feet, it's a great place to go. So it's at 332 J Street. So it's about a block away. When you cross, when you leave the convention center and go down 5th Street, your first left is J Street, and it's right there. So
awesome. You have a map on your somewhere. I saw a map.
Yeah. It's on the blog, and there's a link that has the map. So it's super easy to find.
We'll pull that up here.
Yeah. J and 4th Street. So it's easy.
Luke, anything else before we let them go?
Now, will people be able to buy any of the clothing or the pens there as well?
Well, we will have it all on display. We don't have any merch to go, but if you, but we are offering free shipping at the, we'll give you free shipping code at the shop. And so if you see something you like, you can just go on your own phone and just do whatever, do your own business. And so all the merch vendors will basically have a QR code that if you like what you see, then you can get more information, take it with you and go. So.
Yeah, that's perfect. Good. So it's like an offsite for you as well. So it's like you're inside the convention center, and that's awesome. That if people can't get in, they can still check out the merchandise in person.
Yeah, they can try everything on, and they can kind of know exactly what it's like. So
perfect.
Very good. And what's Wednesday night?
So Wednesday is a preview. It's a preview night for the lounge, and so we're going to have basically just a handful of media folks, as well as our staff, as well as the the licensed partners, and just to kind of sample the different drinks and kind of get an idea of what the week will offer.
Nice.
And so the lounge opens on Thursday at 8 p.m. It closes at 10 p.m. nightly for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then for Sunday it'll be open till noon. Yeah.
Oh, so did you say 8 p.m.?
8 a.m. probably.
I'm sorry, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I was going to say, it's just a late night place. Oh, that's good.
Are you doing a time limit for people so people don't just kind of stay there for like hours or whatever?
No, I mean, maybe if we have to, we will. But I feel like people will be cool about that. And
this is Comic-Con. People are going to have places to go.
Yeah. So
that's very good. Tony, thank you for coming on the show tonight. I know that the rest of everybody was excited that you were going to be on, so they're a little bit disappointed that they were. I know that Tom Parham's going to be on tonight, and he wrote a book on Trek.
Cool.
And so he is the world. Last year, he was able to interview Gene Roddenberry's son at the convention. Wow. We have a good video of that. So I know Tom's going to be like, oh man, I wanted to talk. So Tom's going to be there in your shop. I will be there in the shop. Derek's going to be. It's going to be like one of our hangout spots. I can't wait to see it. Luke, anything else before we let Tony go?
Will this be the way into your booth or into the pop-up?
That's right.
Should be the password.
Well, I'm hoping to catch you. Yeah, I'll be popping between both locations, and so if you come in, hopefully I'll be in one or the other. I'll be just the whole week. I'm just going to be running back and forth the whole time. So
you'll get your steps in.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Tony. Anything else before we let you go?
No, I think that's it. Just again, Con guys, thank you for just all your support over the years. And we joke about the pandemic, but it's like for all businesses, it's been hard to return back. And as we've seen with Comic-Con, a lot of companies haven't returned back to San Diego, and whether it's a lot of it has to do with the writer strike, but then some of it does have to do with the fact that it's just been tough to return to cons. And so, but because of media outlets like you guys and others that help kind of bring awareness and help get eyes on companies like ours, it helps us to, not just to survive, but to have a successful and a growing show. So thank you for your support.
Tony, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being one of the reasons why Comic-Con stays such a good place. And Tony, it's hard to find somebody who has as much of a positive outlook on things as you do. So it's always, we always root for the good guys, and we consider you one of the good guys. So everybody, this is Tony B. Kim with Hero Within. You can find his clothing at herowithinstore.com, but make sure you find him on the floor at San Diego Comic-Con 1943. That's booth 1943. Also, go check out at 332 J Street. What's the name? It's the Energizer Lounge.
Energize Lounge.
I'm going to get it right before. All right, everybody. Thank you, Tony. We'll see you.
All right.
Hello.
I'm muted, of course. Hello, everybody. I am so excited to be with this group of people tonight. Comic-Con is next week, and we have some of the best guides of Comic-Con right here. I almost said Comic-Con. That's a whole other convention.
That's different, yeah.
Anyways, that was a really cool interview that Luke and I, Cheeseman, were able to do with Tony Kim earlier today. We were going to have him on the show tonight live, but he is one busy man, so we just kind of grabbed him when we could. We have one more interview, a little short one that we'll do a little bit later with Jeff Gunn from the InfoList group. We were able to grab him today and talk about the InfoList pre-Comic-Con bash happening this week. But first, I want to start up here with half of the Samblings. I want you guys to introduce yourselves, because this is kind of a different configuration of the group this week. This is kind of like, when people, when you're watching a news show and some people go on vacation, but then you get the cool people that want to on from the weekends that are a little bit more fun. All right, today.
Which ones are we? The vacation people or the fun ones?
You guys are the fun ones from the weekend that want to come on
for the weekend.
Always.
Well, let's see who we have with us to talk about the panel tonight. We'll start up here with the half the Samblings.
Hi there. My name is Danae Sams. I am a comedian and writer based in LA. I have been out of the loop for a little bit on con guy shows, so I'm really excited to be back right now. and half of the samplings, one of the con guys.
All right. We also one of our favorite actresses. By the way, our group tonight, we are all writers, actresses, professors, but we are all we're all very much plugged into what's happening with the WGA and the SAG strikes, and we're going to talk about that tonight. And we have somebody on the inside of the actors community. If you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
I think that's me. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Jim and Cheeseman, for having me back on The Con Guy. Always happy to be here. I'm Angela Relucio. I am an actor based in Los Angeles, mostly film and TV, but I'm also getting into producing. And I'm just so excited. I can't believe Comic-Con is next week. It sneaked up on me this year, I have to say. Usually I am all about programming every last hour.
Yeah,
and now I'm like, I'll do it in a couple of weeks. And I looked at my calendar and said, no, we're doing this for tonight.
Yeah.
So
me and Luke, before the show, right at the top of the show tonight, me and Luke, we were introducing the show, and I pulled this up. Tom, look what happened to me. Look at my Comic-Con experience this year. I'm on crutches. I know. I'm an old man, so whatever.
Hey,
But
dude, you get the ADA. You can get the ADA thing on your badge. So
I was wanting to ask you how that works.
you have to go to the show up with Luke at the ADA desk, and they'll give you one. They'll give you a sticker, and they'll give him a thing that says companion. So as long as he's with you, you can both get better seats than the able-bodied folk.
Let me get somebody else as my companion. I don't want to hang with Luke the whole time.
Jim, what happened?
No.
What did you do?
At the beginning of the show, me and Luke were at a Seinfeld trivia night over in Burbank with our friend Christine. We won first place, so we go outside to celebrate. And like a dummy, I took Luke's challenge when he said, "I bet you can't kick this high."
Oh,
and there goes the knee.
You're not thinking anymore, okay?
We are also very excited to be coming to us tonight from Florida, Mr. Whoa, there goes my microphone. That's why
we're very excited.
Tom,
Hi.
introduce yourself, please.
Dr. Thomas Parham. I chair the communication department at Palm Beach Atlantic University in West Palm Beach, soon to chair the Department of Visual and Media Arts, which includes cinema and a lot of fun stuff. So also a screenwriter, and just finished the first draft of a pilot I've been not writing on for about 10 years, but working on revisions already. So,
well, it's writer's strike, so we all have time to.
Yes, we all have time to
write
write
right now, right? But anyways, we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. I'm going to get to a couple of the comments real quick. General Gilman, I don't know what this means, but I'm excited for it. I asked the people in the chat, what are you excited for? General Gilman, I'm excited for the Con Guy Power Ranger panel. That's August. That's August with me. I don't know what that means. That's happening with me as a special guest. If Ben has already spoken to you, he has not. But now,
surprise,
General Gilman, I don't know who you are. So this is kind of cool. Wait, what's this? And he was saying the Star Trek cruise has been running for a few years. They were talking about that a little bit earlier. Tom, I did want to tell you, Mr. Blurred PhD, I love his Instagram, by the way. You haven't seen your interview with Mr. Roddenberry, huh?
No.
We posted it as a podcast this year. I am so sorry. I will.
You never sent me a link or anything. It's just like
that is my fault. I'll make sure you get that as soon as we're done here. A couple more. Let me see. I think it was Lily. Jim, are you still going to Comic-Con? Yes. This little crutch is not going to stop me. By the way, I'm starting to walk. I feel like I'm starting to walk again. I've been healed. No, it's
Lori.
I don't want to make fun of healing, but I have been walking, and so I'm getting better. So I think I'm going to be there. But tonight, guys, it's not about me. We do have a short interview with Mr. Jeff Gunn, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Tonight, it's all about the panels. It's all about the panels. The entire panel list has been released, but let me give you a little bit of context. Some of the show, it's kind of a weird year because some of the shows and films have promised cast appearances, but that is still kind of up in the air given that the SAG-AFTRA contract, along with the SAG-AFTRA contract expires July 12th. And,
Well,
negotiations
go through July 12th.
Okay, yeah. Let me rephrase it. This I got to be very legal with what I say. They're negotiating through July 12th, and actors are not permitted to promote their current films or TV shows if there is a work stoppage. There are some big projects though that are going to be down at Comic-Con, such as the new Peacock John Wick spinoff series, the Continental, Paramount's new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as well as Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be there. Love her. TJ Miller and more. So sure, this is going to be perhaps a different, maybe a quieter Comic-Con, but it's definitely not going to be dead. We've got lots of panels we want to talk to you about. First, can we talk about this strike? Because the writers are on strike now. The actors, Angela, what's your feeling about the actor strike?
I think it could go either way, but I feel like there's strike a brewing in the air, and that's because I think this is the right time to join the Writers Guild if the requests aren't being met by the AMPTP. It just makes everybody stronger. And so I have a feeling I don't think the actors are wanting to go or meet halfway or a quarter way. I think it's most of the way or all the way or else nothing at all. And the demands are fair. So I am in support of the strike if it were to happen. As much as I love seeing big shows, big actors, all the writers and everybody at the convention, it's understandable if they're not there.
And one of our good friends, Brad, sent me a piece from Variety today. Variety put out on their Instagram, leadership from the Performers Guild, SAG-AFTRA, held a conference call with all the top Hollywood publicity agencies today, bracing the powerful gatekeepers of A-list stars for a strike. The objective of the call, according to sources, was to brief the representatives on the protocols and how talent can best serve the union if and when a strike takes place. That sounds kind of like a strike's happening. Tom, I would love to come to you, Mr. Thomas Parham, he's a professor of media studies. Is that right, Tom?
Among other things, yes.
And this is kind of your area of expertise. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about what are the writers striking for? By the way, we want to get into the panels here, so we don't want to belabor the point, but give us some context for why Comic-Con is going to look different this year.
It's all about streaming, man, because one of the things we're asking for as WGA members, and congratulations to you and Cheese for being new WGA members, but an escalator clause for hot streaming shows, which that's reasonable. If a show's doing well, there should be a bonus built in. But right now, the streaming residuals are not conducive. And because of changes in the industry as a whole, for example, when I sold my JAG script back in the late 90s, it aired once. I got paid a script fee for writing the episode. And then when it reran on CBS that summer, I got a reuse fee that was almost as much as the script fee. That's very rare these days because most network shows don't get a second running during the summer. CBS happens to be one because a lot of old people watch CBS. So, also a lot of network shows don't do 22 episodes. CBS is one of the few that has some of the procedurals and some of the sitcoms do 22. But when you start getting to the streaming series and you're getting these episode orders of anywhere from 6 to 13 as a season and locking in writers that they can't work on another show, it's basically becoming a gig job, not unlike Uber or DoorDash. So those are some of the key issues. But if the AMPTP was willing to deal fairly with the writers, it would cost under $500,000. And oh my gosh, Jeff Bezos dropped $500 million, and Jeff Bezos spent $500 million on his freaking yacht. And he's only one of the companies that's being struck against. So it's like, come on, you're making money, share.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I did. But and as a member of the Writers Guild, I am 100% in solidarity with the writers. I know that Luke as well. It is kind of ironic that we joined the guild just in time to get our very first email, which was Welcome to the guild. You're going on strike.
It's because of you guys, actually. You know, you see what you did?
We're
Cheese
bad blood.
fry broke the negotiations.
We broke in. Hey, Thomas. Moochie says, Tom has hoped to see you at SDCC and maybe a panel this year from the Captain America and Jubilee cosplayers who took a picture with you back in 2019.
Oh my gosh, the pre-COVID days. What was that like? I barely remember.
2019 was a big year. It was a very big year. But anyways, to wrap up the talk about the strikes. So, Tom, you sent me, let me see if I still have it. You sent me
Yeah, basically, WGA sent out a thing to the membership saying that you are not allowed to promote a show produced by the companies that are being struck against.
Right.
So let's say that somebody's got a podcast, like Kevin Smith has his podcast with Mark Bernardin. They can promote their podcast because they produce their podcast.
Yep.
But they can't promote whatever they're working on for, Netflix or whomever.
Or like Jamie Lee Curtis, and hopefully this is
podcasts.
I hope Jamie Lee Curtis comes because she's awesome.
I know,
and
but like she's promoting a graphic novel that she wrote.
If y'all aren't watching The Bear, oh my gosh, she does 2 guest appearances season 2.
No, I didn't know that.
Episode 206, the Christmas episode, which is like, if you are triggered by dysfunctional families, be ready, because oh my gosh, I almost had to stop. It's a double-length episode, and somebody is dealing with some serious issues. But she is, I've adored her since the late 70s, especially Trading Places and A Fish Called Wanda. So it's good to see her get this resurgence in her career and the Oscar, which she dedicated to her parents. But man, it's just,
I know. Hey, Tom,
but the networks and the studios and production companies, the producers need to start paying writers their fair share.
Well,
let's go. Yes, we're all ready to get back into the swing of things, right?
And by the way, we always hear that, like, your fair share, your fair share. By the way, I do want to speak on both sides of this. I don't know. I really don't want to speak on both sides.
Maybe later.
From the studio standpoint, their perspective is that they're unsure, that they're saying that they are losing money on streaming right now. And from the looks of things, most of the studios are kind of having to recalibrate how much money they spend on streaming. Well, they overspent, except for Netflix. Netflix is still profitable when it comes to streaming.
Netflix is not profitable at all, but that's a different discussion.
Well, this is true.
No, the problem is, I was talking to a friend about this yesterday. Nobody knew what streaming was going to be like, so everybody just took wads of cash and threw it at the wall. Yep. And then they're realizing, oh my gosh, we're not making a lot of money, which is why shows are getting canceled that you might like a lot. And Netflix has a secret measure, the completion rate of shows. And if your completion rate for the entire season is under 50%, you ain't getting a second season.
Yeah.
Or an additional season. So Disney Plus just took a whole bunch of stuff off, including Mysterious Benedict Society. And
I know, with Tony Hale.
With Tony Hale, and my good friend of mine, Heather Jing Blatt, wrote for season 2. And the thing is, they get a write-down. They take a write-down for that, but guess what? Those writers and profit participants and people who would normally get some kind of residuals, they're not getting nothing more.
Yeah, and Cheryl Anderson, right? Her and Anthony Epling. Her show, 3 seasons, and it looks like it's going possibly into a 4th season, depending on how well it does. Is doing great at Netflix. Still, Sweet Magnolias.
Right.
So there is content out there, but just to kind of say, this is what, as a writer, the 2 things that I am mainly we might be marching down at Comic-Con, which that'd be interesting. Stop. Studios don't write scripts with AI. Don't just use be common sense about it. Okay, we will use writers to write scripts. That's an easy one. Why do
Black Mirror people tried it and they said the script was terrible and derivative.
I mean,
and I've discovered trying to use AI to do lesson plans for my classes. AI will make up stuff and lie just like worse than students do. So,
because it's based on the rest of us. But
Did you guys
and and we have to know streaming numbers. There's no way for an industry to move forward and get paid adequately and accounting to be correct without streaming numbers. So off my soapbox, because people aren't here to hear us pontificate about the writer's strike and the actor's strike, but we are writers, actors, performers, and comedians right here, and we all care about it deeply. And because it's kind of harpooning parts of Comic-Con. So here we go. I would love to know, let's start with Angela. Let's start with right up front with Wednesday, Thursday. Are there any kind of panels that you are excited about that are happening? Oh, before we do that, because the studios aren't showing up, Thomas, what kind of panels are we going to get at Comic-Con this year?
Comic book panels.
Imagine that.
What?
Crazy talk.
Shocked face? What? No. And I think a good amount of animation too will pop up in the panels, right? So those will remain. I see a lot of more like educational stuff, like the science behind how this sci-fi show works, that sort of thing. I saw a lot of that in the schedules. And then, of course, there's things adjacent to comic books. Like, okay, so for instance, on Thursday, so Wednesday night, preview night, right? I like to just get settled into my hotel. I just like to get settled in, get a feel for the air, the crowd, the energy, and I don't really try to do too much. I don't overdo it because I gotta ration my energy for to last the whole weekend. But come Thursday, we've got a few panels that are exciting. Like I'm obsessed with The Last of Us. I'm sure the rest of you are as well. And there's like a Science of The Last of Us panel happening at 11 a.m. But what happens is it's the same time as a panel I'm interested in called Queens of Lust and Lore, a live romantasy author panel. I didn't know I was such a huge romance fan, but there is a huge intersection between sci-fi and romance, and epic fantasy and romance and all this stuff. So this past year, I've really been embracing the romantic nerd side of me. So that's happening both at the same time at 11 o'clock on Thursday. We've got there's a panel by CBS for Ghosts. I'm not sure what that'll look like, but I do have a college friend who's in that show, so I would love to come and support.
It's one of the coolest shows on television. What's that?
Sheila Carrasco. She plays Flower, the hippie.
It's such a delightful show. I'm almost done with season 2 because
it's easy to binge and wonderful. So she's my NYU Tisch classmate. So I just love to support the people that I see or that I went to class with or school with. It's just exciting to see us all support each other. And then of course I'm a huge Outlander fan. So 3 p.m. Outlandish Confabulation. That is a meeting of all Outlander fans, both the book and the series. I haven't read the books, but I watched the TV show. Super obsessed. And then a 6 p.m. panel called How to Adapt Beloved IP. As an actor, writer, producer, I am. That's all what everyone is talking about, right? How do you get that next? If you read something interesting, how do you snatch that up and turn it into something for the screen? There's, of course, Jim, what you talked about for Friday, the Walking Dead universe. AMC is having their panel at 1 p.m. Not sure what's going to go down, but that's the first look access to all things Walking Dead universe.
I'm looking forward to, and that's already on TV. It's already started streaming. showing, right? Walking Dead or the new Walking Dead show with the
Dead City. Yeah, we just finished episode 4. I think episode 4 just aired on Sunday. I do want to hear about episode 3.
But let's stop. 3. Let's stop. Let's not go to Friday just yet. I want to hear.
Oh,
Danae.
I see. Okay.
Oh, yes. No worries. Danae, do you have any Thursday panels you might be interested in?
Well, I was going to say I'm so excited for Archer because we're coming in. I've been a fan of that show for a long time, and we're coming into the last season. And Bob's Burgers, because I'm pretty sure they were on Thursday.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, are they going to happen?
Wait, Thomas.
Yes.
All the animation, is animation under any kind of a different contract? Because I don't know.
Some animation, the Fox primetime animation shows are generally covered by Writers Guild contracts.
Okay.
Other shows may not be. Animation Writers Caucus is kind of like subdivision. They're kind of like auxiliary to the Writers Guild, but yeah, it depends. When The Simpsons hit it big back in the 90s, basically the Simpsons writers are like, we're your hottest sitcom, you need to pay us like live action writers. and then all the other animation domination shows got favored nation status, which means we'll have what they're having. So, but it really depends on the outlet. So, yeah, it's up in the air.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I know that the FX shows are striking. At least those writers are.
Yeah, but that I wonder about the Cartoon Network, like the Adult Swim, perhaps not, because if you look on the calendar, Danae, and I want you to keep going, because though a lot of these animation panels, they're on the schedule, like we'll be there with casts.
Yeah, I know, and it's I'm so excited because, like, first of all, I haven't been to Comic-Con since 2016, and that was the last time I went. I mean, COVID, the monster, kept me from going for a few years, but 2016 was my last Comic-Con. It's been that's 7 years ago now. Am I doing the math right? Yeah. I don't have any like cosplays planned yet or anything because my life has been really hectic this year. But I'm so excited to get back. And
She's a comedian. She's a stand-up comedian, folks. She's got shows. That's cool.
It keeps you busy, especially when you have a day job and you're trying to write full time at the when you're working 3 jobs. It's hard to find time to do cosplay.
You can rest when you're dead.
Which might come sooner than later if you don't get some rest.
Exactly. So like I haven't. I'm just excited. I don't know what I'm going to be able to see. More than anything, I think I'm going to like walk the floor because I mean those booths will still be there. I mean, during WonderCon, I got to see so many awesome writers displaying their books, and as an author myself, I'm really excited to go and just have a look at what other books are going to be there. So there's still going to be, even though a lot of our shit we might miss out on, the Archer final season panel or the What We Do in the Shadows panel or the Bob's Burgers panel and everything else. There's still going to be so many great things going on both in the convention center and off. So I'm still excited.
Deal, though. What I've heard that for these panels, if the actors and writers don't show up, correct me if I'm wrong, I've heard that the producers of those shows will still be there, and we can expect a whole lot of screenings this year. So lots of screenings in place of
the non-writing line producers. Boy, that'll be so much fun.
The accountant's going to show up.
Can you just see, can you imagine what like producers on a panel are going to be like though? Like big producers, it's just like, we're going to put on a show and you guys are going to watch it and we'll make money. In the panel.
What about you, Tom? What is Thursday kind of looking like in your preview?
I just got the full schedule link that y'all sent me. And
by the way, full disclosure, we asked Tom way too late to be completely read up on all the stuff here. So I appreciate you jumping on.
The things that caught my eye is I think there's going to be a Star Trek panel about Star Trek comic books from IDW.
Yep.
Which is intriguing because they've done a good job with that license. And this is a cartoon for Netflix, so I don't know what's going to happen with it. But Kevin Smith and cast members from Masters of the Universe Revolution are supposed to do a panel. So we'll see if that happens because Netflix is being struck against. And, because it's animation, I don't know. But
Brad, if you're still watching, I'd love to know what you think about the Kevin Smith Masters of the Universe panel. Brad had some very strong opinions about that before.
The show, the season 1 Revelation that you have.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I thought they took some bold storytelling risks, and it's not He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Because they literally make it look like they get rid of He-Man and Skeletor in the first episode.
Yep.
And Tila carries the first half of the season.
Yeah.
But no,
I think that was what was a little upsetting to people who are expecting a He-Man show.
Well, but look, what's interesting is they do have a He-Man in the Masters universe for kids, but this show was not for kids.
Oh, okay.
And Mark Hamill is Skeletor. Just something about Mark Hamill playing evil cartoon characters makes him
I love it. Is there anything else that just jumped out at you from Thursday?
Not really. I have some friends doing.
There is one.
Do y'all have a panel on Thursday?
Is yours? Oh, Is it?
It is the Power Rangers of the official 30th anniversary panel. We have this. Look at this lineup: Patrick David, Roger Velasco, Davi Santos, Christopher Kyman Lee, Peter Adrian Sodarso, Cameron Gibo. I'm going to get this name wrong. Sullivan Ward, Blake Foster, Dwayne Cameron, Tracy Lynn Cruz, with a very special guest, Walter Jones, joining us as part of the panel. Guys, Ben Cleaver is going to be facilitating this. This is huge. This is a big panel. And for the record, we may be taking a couple years break because this one was hard to put together. I tell you what, these Power Rangers, they're busy folks. They just have a lot going on, and we just I don't know. It's poor Luke out there. That's the reason he's not on the show tonight. He's making banners for each of the Power Rangers because they're going to be promoting it. And not just that. This is what's cool. So Thursday, let's say Thursday at 6 o'clock starts your 90s nostalgia part of the Comic-Con because the Power Rangers are going to be there. They're all starting in the 90s. Right afterwards, Bernie from XLE Productions, he is hosting. They've changed the name a little bit. And they're being a bit more accommodating for the Power Rangers because I got it right here. I just talked to him right before the show. They're having Nostalgia Nightclub, a 90s TV takeover. It's going to be a lot of the folks from 90s Nickelodeon, 90s, kid shows, the shows that we grew up with, the 90s sci-fi shows, the Power Rangers. We got like 8 of them are going to be walking over and being VIPs. It's going to be such a cool event. So if you have not yet gotten your tickets, go to, I've got it right here. Here's the banner. It's XLE Entertainment. It's going to be a big show it is the big after show, the Comic-Con after show for Thursday night. He also has not Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night. There's also a Wednesday night, which is, that's the Ready Player One show. And then
Ready Party One.
So, wait. That's Wednesday night. Thursday night is Power Rangers. Ready Power One is Wednesday. Power 90s Nostalgia is Thursday. And then Friday is their Monster Mash party. Their monster themed.
Are they doing a Barbie themed party?
The Barbie Dream House is the VIP experience that's going on the entire week inside their setup at Park Nightclub. So go to xleentertainment.com to find out all your information about that. So anyways, we're going to have a little bit more coming from that. We're going to be doing some promotions, some joint promotions with Bernie and the XLE Entertainment folks. I'm excited about that. And Tom, if you probably didn't hear the earlier part of the podcast. So Tony Kim is doing an offsite this year.
Oh, I saw some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Star Trek themed coffee house. And they're also partnering up with, I think, was it IMG? Who's doing the Star Trek comic books?
IDW.
They're going to be there on with some displays and comic book stuff as well. So it's going to be a very cool experience. So I'm really looking forward to that. Well, that's all we have for episode 1. There is so much content in all these panels that we had to break it into 2 episodes. So today we covered Wednesday and Thursday. That's the end of episode 1. Tune into episode 2 where we tackle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we also have a cool interview with Jeff Gunn of Infolist. Hopefully you guys will tune into the next episode, and hopefully you're getting a lot out of this. This was a lot of fun to do. We'll talk to you soon. See you in the next episode. Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.